Couple other little things I just learned very recently, as in one of them was yesterday, the other one was a couple weeks ago. So, there's two different styles of vent window latching. It's the one on the bottom, the little flipper deal, and the one that's, up farther back here. And they started in 78, ran all the way through the end. I think 81, they changed the way this part of those had a little bump out, so it'd seal a little tighter. Otherwise, I think the latch itself is the same. So, anyway, I was working on my 80 there, and I found the nicest ones with the chrome on them. I knew I had to take, I already took this one off, the little corresponding little notch to hook that in. And I thought, oh, I'm going to use the nicest ones with the chrome I can find, because I wanted to dress that one up a little bit. Got those done, got my windows back from the tint shop, and tried to put it all together. And it didn't fit. I mean, the gasket was in there fine, everything else, the window fit the hole fine, because the window shape is the same. But what I found out is this shaft is a different length. They're longer on the older ones, which means then this bracket is different, which places this retainer farther down. Oh my gosh. Everything could possibly, stupid little things like that on that 80 could go wrong, they did. But anyway, so I figured that out. Since I already had those other ones cleaned up, gasket in, I cut these off. They're just riveted in, and I cut a couple off of a different vehicle. Turned out I used them off of like an 80 van. They were the same bracket because I parted one out, an 81 van, whatever it was. So there's that. That's difference. The whole thing as an assembly is interchangeable, but the pieces inside of it, now I know, are not. So be wise about that. Now the other thing is inside the door itself. Okay, so inside the door, this is my 73. I've been working on the 73 and 80 actually on the same day, so it was like super obvious. This piece right here, where the window track, not the window track weather strip goes, is a little bit narrower than that 80. And 77, 78 is the split. When they changed the vent window style, they changed a couple other things too. So this is about 1/10 of an inch, maybe just a smidge more than 1/10 of an inch narrower, which makes putting that gasket in there super difficult. It worked. I got it in on the other side. Everything's fine, but it was really, really difficult. And the other thing that previous owner did, which I should have done on the other side, it would have saved like an hour's of time, but there's supposed to be a spot weld there, not a bolt. You cut that out, so then this whole bracket could swing a little bit, which makes getting the window in and out of there easier. Because these are a real SOB. That 80 was a pain in the ass because it was power windows. You had to move that switch a little bit at a time. But this, you can't slide both of them on, both of these little wheels on at the same time. Got to do one, tip the window, then slide the other one on. With this out of the way, super easy. So, and the other differences with this, and I already took it all apart. I'll show you a different one. Okay, so here's my 76. Granted, this is all beat up. This is really bad. But this window track, this weather strip, doesn't lip over the outside edge. These don't lip over the top. And on the inside, you can always, the inside for some reason is a different material. It's not rubber, it's just felt. Or maybe if it's supposed to be rubber, they're always gone. And I'll show you. So here's my 80. You can see this weather strip kind of lips over the edge of the door, the upper frame a little bit, and so do these. These lip over just a little bit. They're not set down inside like the previous ones. These will work on the older ones. They just look a little different. The older ones will work on these. Again, they just look a little different. These will work on the older ones. They just look different. Other than down in the bottom, where it's a real pain in the ass, a big nightmare to get that shoved in the track. Oh my goodness, why is that so tight? So, I don't know, you can get it. So it fits in there just like the other one does. All completely in, not overhanging. There's no overhang. The overhang stops up here somewhere. So that's fine. And oh, here's the difference in the window. You can't see the window frame, but obviously there's that hole. getting the second door done, at least the power window put in the door and the glass back in and whatnot. Kind of taking a little break here because I'm sweating my butt off. This is the third t-shirt I'm sweating through, so I gotta take a break. Anyway, kind of explain, learn from my fail, that kind of thing. And the sad thing is I knew better and I still didn't do it right the first time. So I struggled a lot with that. That door took way longer than it should have to put together. So here you go. And I've got a towel in here because the glass is in here. I don't want it to fall over and hit the regulator or anything like that and then scratch the tint. So that explains that. The order in which to put one of these doors back together. You're going to put your regulator in. This is a power regulator, so that's all riveted in. I've got 4 rivets on this one now, because normally there would have been 3. This one, and this one. And then the one down here was actually a bracket on the motor itself. Well, I've got aftermarket replacement motors on. They're a lot tinier. That bracket doesn't exist anymore. So I drilled a hole, lined up with the rest of this window regulator bracket, riveted in that way. Poof, done. Anyway, so that goes in first. Then you slide your glass in, which is in there. I don't know if you can see it, kind of maybe. And just set it in there, protect it somehow. Sometimes I'll put like contact paper on them. Like if they're tinted, that'll help protect from stuff. But that only protect from minor stuff. I put a towel in there. I think it's probably a little better long term. Anyway, so then that goes in. Then this goes on, the vent window. But not bolted down into here yet. And since I added the vent visors, put those in, which is a process. You got to put one in, put a screw in, mark it, drill, and you still end up scratching the shit out of everything because you're drilling into a tiny little. You're basically drilling into like this edge where it breaks over. That's where you got to drill a hole in it, and it's just difficult. Anyway, so this goes in, then this gasket goes in, this weather strip. Then both of these, the inner and outer window fuzzies as they're called. And then from there, then you will push, the lower frame forward as much as you can so you can kind of get the window track on the rollers, and you push it in there and you get it into the guides. Poof. Then you can slide it up, roll it up, in this case with the power, and then get this last bolt in that goes through here, and then you're done. It sounds so simple. It is far from it. These guys, the one on the outside, so that's the one I do first. It's easy because you got all kinds of access. You do the one on the inside, now suddenly you're fighting against the one you just put in because they're always pushing on each other. And you got to get all those little clips lined up. So, yeah, I've got a temporary power rocker switch for the motor. It's unplugged right now because you have to have the window regulator all the way down to the bottom to get everything in, to get everything in place. And with the power windows, there's a, where is it? Here it is. This guy kind of goes in about like this on the inside, and that's a stop, so you can only run it down about so far. Without that in there, you can run the window down farther, and then there's a little short track up in here, and then the wheel will fall out of that, and then you're screwed. And then nothing wants to line up again right. So you have to be right down at the very, very bottom, far down as you can go without having this wheel fall out in order to get everything on. So it has been an adventure. But it does look nice. I got, these actually came off of a earlier model, 77 and an earlier. The tint actually doesn't look that much in the camera. You get this direction, it starts getting a lot darker. Well, it's hard to tell. It just doesn't show up in the camera, but it's nice. It's dark, but it's not like stupid dark where you're going to attract the wrong kind of law enforcement attention. So, but yeah, everything is in there now. This bracket's in there, riveted in. There's one on the bottom, one rivet on the bottom, I mean. And yeah, I still have to put my little wing locks on. Got to clean those up nice, but they can go on anytime. Closes good, beautiful. So I have a fun little problem I got to deal with. I think it's just this right here is just really sloppy, because there's a lot of, I can grab the window, you can see how much it flops back and forth. I mean, there should be a little bit of movement in there, but that's too much. Because what happens, I can roll it up, and it gets about that far, because the whole thing is twisting in there, binding, whoops, a little sideways. It goes down fine, but it gets about right there, and then she stops. I can push on it, and it'll go the rest of the way, no problem. So, man. I've got a new regulator coming. So, I'm pretty much done for the day, I guess. At least with this. I'll start working on something else.